It was a cold, gray morning in downtown Los Angeles, the kind of morning when the air bites your skin, and the city seems to hold its breath. A man in a tattered coat stood on the corner of 7th and Broadway, clutching a small bundle of roses that had long lost their fragrance. His name was Kareem, once a literature teacher back home in Lebanon, now a man surviving on the kindness of strangers and the fading hope that tomorrow might bring something better. He whispered softly to himself as he arranged the roses on a piece of torn cardboard that read, "Roses for Hope, $2 each." Just a few steps away, a black Rolls-Royce slid to a stop, its glossy frame reflecting the dull light of the morning. From inside stepped out a tall man in a tailored suit, his watch gleaming like it cost more than most people's yearly salary. His name was Alexander Kane, a self-made millionaire known for his arrogance and his obsession with power. He was on his way to a business meeting that would make him even richer, but what happened that morning would change him forever. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the power of humanity to surprise us when we least expect it, please take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, subscribe to the channel for more stories like this, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this story will remind you that even in the coldest hearts, warmth can still be found. Kareem smiled as Alexander passed by, offering him a rose with trembling hands. "Good morning, sir," he said softly. "Would you like to buy a rose for someone you love?" Alexander stopped, looking down at the man as though he were invisible. He noticed Kareem's rough hands, the dirt beneath his fingernails, the weary lines around his eyes. "You're trying to sell me dead flowers," Alexander scoffed. "Tell you what," he added with a smirk, "if you can sell me these roses in Arabic, perfectly, I'll pay you $100,000. His assistant laughed beside him, expecting the old man to shrink away in embarrassment. But Kareem didn't flinch. He simply looked up, eyes steady, and whispered in fluent, melodic Arabic. The words flowed like poetry, soft, aching, and sincere. It meant, "I sell you these roses not because they are beautiful, but because they are what's left of my hope." The sound of his voice carried something ancient, something that reached through the coldness of the morning and pierced Alexander's heart in a way he couldn't explain. For a moment, the street noises faded. Alexander's smirk vanished, and his breath caught in his throat. He looked at the old man, realizing for the first time that he was staring at someone who had known real loss, real hunger, real love. "Where did you learn to speak like that?" Alexander asked, his tone softer now. Kareem lowered his eyes and said, "I taught language back home before the war. I lost my wife there. I came here to start again." Alexander stood frozen, unable to move, as if the man's words had unlocked something buried deep inside him. The traffic light changed, and the world resumed its pace, but Alexander didn't. He reached into his pocket, pulling out a thick wad of cash. But when he looked at Kareem, he realized that the money in his hands suddenly felt meaningless. "Keep your roses," Kareem said gently, pushing Alexander's hand away. "I only sell hope, and hope can't be bought." The words stung. Alexander's assistant shifted uncomfortably, sensing that something sacred had just happened. Alexander's face softened, his eyes glistening as if years of pride and emptiness had caught up with him all at once. He stepped closer, pressing the cash into Kareem's hand anyway. "Then let me buy your hope," he whispered. But Kareem shook his head. "You can't buy what you already have," he said. "You just forgot it was inside you." That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. The city lights outside his penthouse window flickered like ghosts of choices he had made, people he had stepped on, hearts he had broken. He saw Kareem's face again and again, that quiet dignity, that unshakable peace despite having nothing. For years Alexander had believed money could fill the silence of his soul, but now, for the first time, he felt the weight of his own emptiness. The next morning, he cancelled his meetings and went back to that corner, but Kareem was gone. The cardboard sign was gone. The roses were gone. In their place was a single folded paper, wedged between the cracks of the wall. On it was written in Arabic, and beneath, a rough English translation, hope lives in the hands that give, not the ones that take. Alexander spent months searching for Kareem. He went to shelters, soup kitchens, and parks across the city, leaving flowers wherever he went. His assistants called him crazy, his investors pulled back, his friends whispered behind his back. But he didn't care anymore. Something inside him had changed. He started a foundation in Kareem's name, dedicated to helping refugees and the homeless rebuild their lives. Every rose sold through the program carried a small tag with the words, "For Hope," in memory of Kareem. Within a year, the program spread across the country, and thousands of people began finding jobs, homes, and new beginnings through it. Alexander no longer measured success by how much he earned, but by how many lives he could change. One winter evening, Alexander visited a small community center where his foundation had funded a language class for refugees. As he entered the room, his eyes caught a familiar sight, a photo pinned to the bulletin board of a smiling old man with kind eyes, holding a rose. Beneath it was written, "Kareem, our teacher of hope." Alexander felt tears spill down his face. He sat quietly in the back of the room, listening to the students repeat words in Arabic. One of them turned and said, "Our teacher always told us that hope speaks all languages." Alexander smiled faintly, whispering, "Yes, it does." If this story touched your heart, please don't scroll away without showing some love. Like this video, share it with someone who might need a reminder that kindness still exists, and subscribe for more stories that restore faith in humanity. Before you go, tell us in the comments what you would have done if you were in Alexander's place. Would you have stopped for Kareem? Would you have heard the voice of hope hidden in a stranger's words? Because sometimes, the smallest act of compassion can rewrite an entire life, and maybe, just maybe, it can save your own.